Alright, so at this point I have a pretty nasty hide again. The hide's been fleshed. I had this hide sitting in ash and water for over a week, so it's all stained. And now I'm ready to start taking the hair out and the grain, and I'm going to try to get some close-ups so you see exactly what I'm doing. Alrighty, so most of the mechanics are the same as when we were fleshing. We're going to do that same motion. We're back to the beam. Now, you'll see this hair is coming out real easy. Like no effort at all. And that's real easy. But we're after the hair and the grain. So what you'll see me doing now, I just cleared out all this hair. We have to go down a little deeper. Take a little bite. And look at this. I'm peeling off curls of what's known as grain. The thin layer of skin, it locks that hair into the hide normally. And we want to get that out of there because we're going to make buckskin. And this grain would interfere with braining the hide. It's kind of like a barrier. That's one big difference you'll see between buckskin and leather. If you look at leather, there's a shaggy side, there's a shiny side. That shine on the leather is this grain. The hair has been removed, but the grain layer is left intact, and that's one difference between leather and buckskin. So I'm going to zoom in to make sure you see what I'm doing, but it should be really clear now that I've exposed the grain and the underlining dermis layer. Now I might have to switch my camera settings. It's not too bright. Okay, so you'll see right here is where I was scraping. You'll see it's dark. That's the dermis, and then you come over here, you'll see a ridge on both sides. This is the grain layer that's still intact. And I'm peeling off curls, actually. See if you can catch one with my knife. I'm taking a bite, and I'm just peeling this off. It's coming off in curls. See that? That is the grain. So we're going to remove all this hair and all this grain. And still going to try to get it a little closer so you can really see this. Alrighty, I'm up really close here. Switch my camera to macro setting. I think that's supposed to see real close. But you could see all this is where I just got done scraping, and then all this is lighter. And you can see a ridge there. This is all the grain that's still left intact. Now I wish I could kind of do this and hold the camera at the same time, because then you'd really be able to see the distinction. You really can't take a good enough bite like this, but you'll be peeling off little curls. Kind of slimy layer of grain. Alright, I'm zoomed back in. I hope you could really see what I'm doing. Again, there's darker areas where I've already scraped, exposing pure dermis, or the skin layer. And then over here, there's a ridge, and this is all where the grain's left. And really hope the camera is picking this up. So I'm just going to clear some of the skin out of or some of this hair out of the way, and then I'll attack this grain. And you can take a bite and then just run with it. You can get long little strips of it off. You can see this. That is what we're after right there. And this is real easy now that this hide's been swollen and the lie's done its job. This is just coming right off real easy. I'm anxious to see the difference between the hide that I have just soaking in water and this one, so you can see the advantages of using ash. And generally I work from the length of the hide, like from head to tail. It's just easiest to do that. Once I get to the edge, I'll probably have this turning every which way around the belly and stuff, but generally I work along the length of the hide. And you can, same motion, you just take that grain and run it right off the edge so you get everything. And I usually go back, and this is where you want to be real thorough. You want to just make sure you get all this grain. Get it all now and you won't have to worry about it later. Just take your time with this. It's coming off really easy. You just want to take your time. It's no rush. Just pay attention to what you're doing. Usually I'll go over the whole thing a couple times when I think I got all the grain and just look. I might have missed a little piece. But all this has been scraped and all the grain has been removed now at this point. So I could just go right along. Just rotate this a little bit. And the same thing. Start taking some of this hair off. Like that. Give me some so I can see what I'm doing. Then I'm going to take a bite and run with it. See that? That is the grain. Alrighty, I'm just going to work away here. Alright, real quick, I'm getting to the outer edges of the hide. And you just want to take your time. It's real common, I do it all the time. I usually have rip outs right at the edge when I'm doing this. So you just take your time. Because it's kind of easy to rip the edge, it's thinner. So you just take your time and you'll always have parts around your edge that rip out. It's really no big deal. You just want to be careful in the thinner areas of the hide. Now, usually, around your neck and the rump, the grain is the most stubborn. Those are the areas of the hide that are the thickest. So sometimes it'll take a little bit more effort, a little bit more energy. But I'll get to that when I get to the neck. But so far this has been really easy. Everything's just coming off really nice. Just take your time. When you get around the edge, just go nice and slow. Try not to rip the whole hide out. Just keep working away. Alright guys, I'm getting up to the neck area where usually the hide is the toughest. So you use the same motion, but you might have to go just a little bit choppier and slower because you'll be taking off a little bit less with each stroke. But you just work at it and you'll get it, but it's definitely a little bit harder when you get to the tougher areas. You just go a little bit choppier, a little bit more energy. It's a little bit slow going at the neck, but you'll get it. You just want to make sure you get all the hair and all the grain with it. Just want to show you that just so you know the neck area is usually the toughest. Alright guys, I just finished up. I'm not going to lie, that's a little bit of work. I was really moving and that was probably a good 45 minutes. I still want to give this a once over to make sure I didn't miss any pieces of grain. But don't be afraid to give yourself a lot of time so you see what's going on here. It's not a rush. Nothing's going to go bad at this point. You just want to make sure you get all that grain off. This hide has now been de-haired, degrained. The flesh side is all stained from the ash. And this hide still has the lye in it. It's still swollen. Kind of this funky yellowish greenish color. It's slippery. So at this point, the next thing I want to do is throw this back in some moving water, fresh water, to help flush this whole hide out. You know, thereby taking out any of the mucus, any of that lye, anything that would hinder brain penetration. And what you'll see the difference once all this lye has been washed back out, this hide will be back to its white, supple, stretchy self. We'll be ready to move on from there. But I'll show that all as I do it, but that's where we're at. It's really not much to look at this point, but we're getting there. Alright guys, so I'm back down to the creek. I'm going to throw this in running water to help rinse it out a little faster. If it's really cold out, this could take a couple days to rinse all that lye back out of this hide. But you'll see, I'll come back to this and it'll be nice and white and stretchy again. But you want to make sure you get all that out of there, because anything left in this hide could affect the brains from penetrating the hide and softening this hide. So you want to get this underwater and get it rinsing out. And while I'm here, I'm just going to check out my other hide. You'll see what I'm looking for is I'm going to start pulling. And if this hair starts to come out, it's telling me this hide's about ready to start scraping. Sometimes you'll have spots in the hide. It's hard to, you'll have spots that are a little tougher. So I might give this another day or two. But generally once the hair starts pulling out, I'll just go break down and just try to scrape it all off. There's always going to be a couple spots that's hard to get off, but this hide went really easy. Now I'm just going to put a couple rocks on it, get it rinsing out, and we'll be ready to move on from there.